transformation indeed is actually, it brings opportunities, but somehow it does bring challenges, especially in the transition process where probably certain organizations or firms, they have difficulty to embrace. So is there any advice or areas that you have observed in terms of the challenges, and perhaps some suggestions to audit firms or organizations in terms of overcoming those challenges and to make it successful?
Well, this is something that we've worried about, because the digital transformation that audit firms have to make requires an investment. And many of the auditing firms that we see in the UK are of a size that makes it impossible for them to develop new technology themselves. Therefore, they're waiting for the market to develop.
Yes.
And that then comes down to, well, how big is the market, and is any independent vendor going to come into it? So one of the things that we've tried to do to counter that is, first of all, we've tried to showcase new technology at the ICAW. Right. Now, this is a delicate line for a professional body, because we don't want to endorse anybody. Yeah. But as new technologies have developed and new players have emerged, we've given a number of them the opportunity to present themselves at Chartered Accountants Hall to audit firms. Right. It's then up to the audit firms to make the decisions as to whether or not they want to enter into a commercial agreement. It's caveat emptor, but at least it brings the awareness of the new technologies to the firms. I think the other option is potentially encouraging people to work together to share the costs of developing technology. Yeah. So in the UK at the moment, we have an initiative that's being worked on by the top 20 firms to create something called a common data model. And this would allow structured data and unstructured data to be extracted from company systems, put onto a common platform that can then be analysed by anyone the company gives permission to. External auditors would obviously be one, but so would lawyers, potentially the tax authorities. And this is an exciting development, because it's a bit of it's one of those areas that people have talked about for years, but we've never had the technology to allow the practical hurdles to be overcome. Right. The thing that's happened that allows it to become a reality is the cloud. Yes. The cloud makes this possible. Yeah. So the discussions we've been having have involved people like Microsoft. So Microsoft will be interested in building this. And we as the professional body are making a small investment in this. Right. And we're doing that to make sure it will be open source and available to all of our audit firms and potentially wider. Right. Because we don't want this to be the preserve of a few, and that itself to become a barrier to entry. Right. So that's really very interesting, because in MIE itself, we launched our digital technology blueprint, and basically that blueprint is to bring more awareness and to also encourage more of such collaboration. But this is definitely a very good example that we in Malaysia, the firms can learn from it. Because I think we also had a suggestion by one of the providers to say that if the firms get together and they come up with an open source model, that will encourage more awareness and more adoption. And back to the data, common data platform that you spoke about, and I suppose within the development, there's a lot of collaboration and sharing among the firms. But this is something that is, I think, very encouraging, because
looks like ICW is able to bring them together and work together, to share and to develop such platform. So is that something that in the UK currently, a development or a dynamics that is coming on board within the firms, the working dynamics?
Yes, it is. I mean, we all recognise that they are commercial businesses.
Yes.
And they are going to compete with each other.
Yes.
But one of the things that we haven't spoken about yet, but I know is on the minds of many people, is how would you disrupt the accountancy profession?
Right.
What would happen if you had a disruptive force, and we all know who they are, the big technology companies,
Yes.
who come in with their particular expertise and their computing power,
Right.
and they can just effectively do something very similar to the services that they provide today. So I think that they're all very conscious that collaborating to allow people to effectively stay ahead and make the developments and the investments needed is something that needs to be done in this century.